Hello everyone. Today I want to talk about a movie that really surprised me in a good way. And that is a movie called September 30th, 1955. This is a film from 1977 directed by James Bridges and starring Richard Thomas, fresh off his role as John Boy in the Waltons. It surprised me because I never saw it, and in the 1970s I was a fanatical moviegoer, and there's very few films I didn't go to see. I think I was put off by the title. The title meant nothing to me. I still think it's a pretty poor title, at least for commercial purposes. But it is a very significant day to a lot of people. I was only 6 years old in 1955. But college-age kids, high school-age kids of 1955 that was a memorable day because it was the day that James Dean died at the age of 24 in an automobile accident. And it's funny that James Dean could have inspired such a cult because he only had one movie in September 30th, 1955 that had been released, and that was East of Eden. And in the opening shots of this movie, we see Richard Thomas is sitting in a movie theater watching the final scenes in East of Eden, and we get his reactions, and we find out he has seen the film many times. And I say it's surprising that East of Eden generated such a cult, being it was just one movie. And when I saw East of Eden, I felt it was kind of a rather turgid Elia Kazan movie. I like it a lot more today. And that James Dean was kind of mopey in this film, in East of Eden. And I had already seen Rebel Without a Cause, which came out shortly, which was released to movie theaters in 1955, shortly after James Dean died. And that was such a dynamic movie, and James Dean found his perfect director in Nicholas Ray. Both felt this rebellious estrangement from the status quo, and whereas East of Eden was sort of a rebellion against one's family and family relationships, in Rebel Without a Cause, it was basically the whole system, the universe itself, as we see in that great sequence at the Fells Planetarium. And Richard Thomas, I got to admit, Richard Thomas wouldn't have been I wasn't eager to go to see a Richard Thomas movie, and he's fantastic in this movie. And in my theater going days, I've seen him on stage twice, and once as Richard III, and I can guarantee you he's a pretty good actor. And the movie also has a whole bunch of supporting roles. Richard Thomas playing a college student in a small Arkansas town. In his dormitory, Tom Hulce, Dennis Quaid, Dennis Christopher, all would go on to very significant performances very quickly. Deborah Benson is in it, Lisa Blount, terrific, as Richard Thomas's ex-girlfriend. And then we have Susan Terrell, who's always great, and she plays the mother of one of the students. And then there's Colin Wilcox Paxton, and she's a very unknown, terrific actress. And she plays Richard Thomas's mother, and Richard Thomas, as a result of his grief at the death of James Dean, goes off on a rebellious streak and holds up liquor stores and robs liquor stores and destroys property, and just goes on a wild, rebellious kind of rampage. And his mother, very played by Colin Wilcox Paxton, is you kind of have sympathy for why are you taking the crux of the matter is, why are you taking the death of a celebrity so hard? And this is a very autobiographical film as well for James Bridges. He's filming it in the Arkansas town that he grew up in, and he is This was the college that he graduated from, and he too had a obsession with James Dean. He was part of the cult of James Dean, and he fulfilled his desire to go to Hollywood and work in movies and talk to people who knew James Dean. So there's a kind of ambiguous nature to this character's rebellion, because we see it as a self-absorption. We see it as something that is destructive, both in his behavior and to his friends, and kind of even a warning of celebrity worship in and of itself, of identifying too closely with celebrities, which is something that, you know, the celebrity worship of the 1950s is just a drop in the ocean compared to that has developed through the years, and it doesn't make fun of the townsfolk, which I really liked, you know, because, oh yeah, we're rebelling against these rituals and this conformity of town life, but the town people themselves seem like rather decent people. The rituals they're going through, the homecoming parade, and the homecoming queen, and it isn't satirized. It's not made grotesque. And it probably plays into the commercial failure of the film, because the studio, Universal, according to the commentary, was expecting something on the lines of American Graffiti, where everything would be satirized. It would be a very clear-cut sentiment that is being expressed, nostalgic sentiment. But Bridges isn't like that. Bridges, I think, is very much a humanist in this film, and he's great with actors, and he made quite a impression when he was writing. He wrote 16, before he became a director, he wrote 16 episodes of Alfred Hitchcock Hour, but he only made 8 films in 18 years from his first film, which I think was The Baby Maker, a few years before September 30th, 1955, and he was a gay man. His life partner, I was pleasantly informed of by IMDb, was Jack Larson, who played Jimmy Olsen in the 1950s Superman series. And the film is also beautiful to look at. The cinematographer was Gordon Willis. This is the real 70s look of Hollywood movies, and much of that is attributed to Gordon Willis, and he loved dark scenes, so about half this movie occurs at nighttime. But even his interiors, some of them are candlelit. Now I got to admit, I had problems with this movie, and in that it was too dark. I couldn't see anything. So even though I have a certain I have my the instruments, the various, you know, sharpness and all that stuff, color, tint, and everything. I pretty much have it down pat for most Blu-rays, and with some tweaks. But in this film, it was just way too dark, so I had to go through a lot to get it to look. And once I got it to look that I'm pretty sure Gordon Willis wanted us to have, it is absolutely fantastic looking. But again, it was a commercial failure, but Bridges would go on to have some significant hits: Urban Cowboy, and China's Syndrome. He made another film called Mike's Murder that I really liked. It was butchered on its original release. I'm not even sure it was released but very widely at all. I think I must have caught it on VHS or on cable, and I really liked it. And in the commentary by Peter Tonguet, who wrote a book on James Bridges' films, he thinks September 30th, 1955 is his best film, and Mike's Murder his second best film. He's also known for The Paper Chase, the original movie, and he was the creator, and I think he wrote the first 2 episodes of the successful long-running television series that came later. So I think Bridges is a director that I I have totally forgotten about. And again, I've never seen this movie that his biographer believes to be his best. So, a real nice surprise for me. This is was released on I got it from the Kino Lorber website. I think it came out in April of 2021. It is a Scorpion film release. Okay, that about wrap this one up. Thanks as always for everybody who managed to listen to me this far. I really do appreciate it. Comments are welcome. You guys take care.